The transport bay doors hissed open, revealing a sight that would echo through the Galactic Council chambers for generations to come. Alpha Commander Vraxthar stood frozen, his four eyes widening in disbelief as he watched what appeared to be an impossible transformation unfold before him. 3 cycles ago, he had left his cubs young, frightened, barely able to coordinate their limbs in the care of a human settlement on the border world of Kepler 442b. The Felrathi Pride had faced an existential threat. The Kresh invasion force had torn through their home system like wildfire through dry grass. Vraxthar had made the hardest decision of his life, entrusting his offspring to the strange, soft-skinned bipeds who had recently established diplomatic relations with his people. The humans were weak by galactic standards, no natural armor, no claws, no enhanced senses. They were prey species that had somehow clawed their way to the stars through sheer stubbornness and an unsettling fondness for making weapons out of literally everything. Vraxthar had expected his cubs to survive. Perhaps he had not expected this. "Commander Vraxthar," a calm voice called out. Elena Martinez stepped forward, her dark hair tied back in the practical style humans favored. Behind her, moving with the fluid precision of veteran warriors, came Kiro. Vraxthar's heart seized. His youngest cub, once timid, always hiding behind his larger siblings, now moved with the confidence of a seasoned predator. But Kiro wasn't alone. Behind him marched a formation that made Vraxthar's tactical mind spin. 200 Felrathi cubs, moving in perfect synchronization, each wearing modified human combat harnesses, each carrying themselves like soldiers born to war. What have you done to them?" Vraxthar whispered, his translator struggling with the mixture of awe and concern in his voice. Elena smiled, that peculiar human expression that showed teeth but meant friendliness. "We taught them what we know best, Commander. We taught them to survive." Kiro stepped forward, his golden eyes meeting his father's. When he spoke, his voice carried an authority that hadn't existed 3 cycles ago. "Father, the cubs are ready to return home. All of them." "All of them?" Vraxthar looked past Kiro, counting faces he recognized, and dozens he didn't. "These are not all from our pride." "No," Elena confirmed, pulling up a holographic display. "After word spread about your cubs' placement, other Felrathi families reached out. Refugees from 7 different pride worlds. We've been busy." Vraxthar watched the display in stunned silence. Combat simulations, tactical training, strategy sessions, but also something else. Images of human children playing with Felrathi cubs, of shared meals, of Elena reading stories to a group of attentive young faces, both human and alien. "Humans have a saying," Elena continued, her voice softer now. "It takes a village to raise a child. We took that seriously." "Show me," Vraxthar demanded, his tactical instincts overriding his emotional turmoil. "Show me what they've learned." Kiro's ears perked up, and something that looked suspiciously like a human smile crossed his feline features. "Cubs, Formation Delta 7. What happened next would be analyzed in military academies across the galaxy for decades." The young Felrathi moved with inhuman, or perhaps too human precision. They split into squads, established overlapping fields of fire, created kill zones, and fallback positions. But more than that, they moved with purpose, with understanding. These weren't cubs mimicking adult behavior. These were soldiers who comprehended the why behind every action. "We started with games," Elena explained as the demonstration continued. "Humans have been training our young through play for millennia. Tag taught them about pursuit and evasion. Hide and seek developed their stealth capabilities. Capture the flag gave them objective-based thinking. Then we moved to human military history," she continued, walking alongside Vraxthar as they observed. "We showed them how smaller forces have defeated larger ones throughout our history. The Spartans at Thermopylae, the guerrilla tactics of the Viet Cong, the asymmetric warfare of the Taliban. We taught them that victory isn't about size or strength. It's about adaptation, creativity, and refusing to quit. Quote, Kiro approached his father, his posture respectful, but no longer submissive. Elena taught us something else, father. She taught us that family isn't just blood. Every cub here from 7 different prides, 7 different worlds, we're one pack now. We fight for each other. Vraxthar felt his throat tighten, an emotional response his species rarely showed. The Kresh invasion is failing, Kiro interrupted, his voice carrying across the bay. We've been monitoring the reports. Your forces are holding, but barely. You need reinforcements. He gestured to the assembled cubs. We're ready. Your children, Vraxthar roared, his parental instincts finally breaking through his military composure. We're soldiers, Kiro corrected calmly. Elena's people became apex predators on a death world, not because they were the strongest, but because they refused to give up. They taught us that lesson. They taught us that humans don't abandon their pack. And Father, Kiro's eyes gleamed with something fierce and proud. We're part of their pack now, just as they're part of ours. Elena stepped forward, placing a hand on Vraxthar's armored shoulder, a gesture that would have been unthinkable between their species before. Commander, I won't lie to you. We trained them for war because war is what they're returning to. But we also gave them something else. We gave them hope, adaptability, and the most dangerous human trait of all. What trait? Vraxthar asked, though part of him already knew the answer. Spite, Elena said with a grin that was all teeth and no mercy. Pure, bloody-minded, I'll die before I quit human spite. Your cubs aren't just soldiers now, Commander. They're honorary humans. And humans don't lose because we're too stupid to know when we're beaten. Kiro raised his voice, addressing the assembled cubs. Who are we? The Pride of Terra. 200 young voices roared back in perfect unison, using the human name for Earth. What do? We fight. We adapt. We win. Vraxthar looked at his son, no. At this warrior his son had become, and felt something shift in his understanding of the universe. The Galactic Council had always dismissed humans as an anomaly, a fluke species that succeeded through luck and recklessness. But standing here, seeing what they had accomplished with Felrathi cubs in just 3 cycles, Vraxthar understood the truth. Humans weren't weak. They were terrifying, not because of their weapons or their technology, but because of their ability to inspire, to adapt, to take broken children from shattered worlds and forge them into something stronger than the sum of their parts. When do we leave? Vraxthar asked, his voice steady despite the emotions churning within him. Elena checked her tactical display. Transport ships are standing by. We've got human volunteers ready to deploy alongside the cubs, advisors, combat instructors, and a few Marines who got a bit too attached to their students. Elena, Vraxthar said, using her name for the first time. Why? Why did your people do this? The human woman looked at the assembled cubs, at Kiro standing proud and ready, and then back at the alien commander. Her answer was simple, devastating in its honesty, because that's what family does. As the Pride of Terra boarded the transport ships, ready to return to a war-torn home they barely remembered, Vraxthar realized that the Kresh had made a fatal miscalculation. They had attacked the Felrathi expecting a broken, scattered people. Instead, they would face cubs raised by humans creatures who had learned that the only unforgivable sin was giving up. The Alpha had left his cubs in human care, trusting in their survival. They were returning as something far more dangerous. They were returning as humanity's legacy, commanding a legion of their own, carrying the most infectious thing humans had ever created. Hope, backed by spite. And training. Lots and lots of training. The Kresh were about to learn a very human lesson. Never, ever, make a human adopt your enemy's children. Because they'll send them back, and they'll send them back improved.